Car up to 75, Corey Dunn, Salem, Virginia. Well, he's probably got some laps around here. Down into corner number one. It's always interesting to see how a driver goes out in the same corner that the guy in front of him spun out it. But Dunn had no problem. Went right through the center of it, kept the power on.
Green flag now out in his run. So at least he gets that dead lap, Lenny, to kind of feel it out, if you will, as Dunn now into turn 3. And a lot of drivers fully expect this first pass to be their fastest one of the qualifying session. And lap 2, or I should say lap 1 for Corey Dunn is the fastest at 15.304, but second now behind Austin Thaxton.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the crews, and the tire fall off is like a cliff. They say once they go, they go.
And lap 1 will be the lap of record for Corey Dunn at a 15.304. Second lap was slightly slower for Corey Dunn.
And out on the track now, the 91 of the machine, Jonathan SHAFER, the kid out of Ohio.
And Lenny, you notice what he's doing on lap 1? Just taking his good old sweet time.
Oh, yeah.
This, the dead lap, again, does not count. He'll be hard on the throttle now at a turn number 4. Now the clock is on for Jonathan SHAFER as he will make the first of 2 time laps.
It's the balance between building momentum to build speed before you get to start-finish line, but not gouging on the tires until you really need them for that first lap. What's his first lap?
First lap, top of the board for Jonathan SHAFER, 15.078. 15.078, a full tenth and change faster than Austin Thaxton. Big wiggle that time out of turn 4. And SHAFER quicker yet on lap number 2, 15.059, the lap of record, 15.059.
Former UARA Stars competitor Connor Jones on the racetrack?
Well, I don't think Connor was hardly alive then. He might have watched a few of them, but
Maybe
I don't think
so.
he was alive then.
Connor Jones out of Raleigh, the number 9, heading towards the green flag. He's got it.
See Connor a little sideways there through turns 1 and 2, excuse me. Had a great qualifying run at Wake County 1 week ago. Started that race in 4th, had a misfortune early that took him out of contention. And lap number 1 for Connor Jones, 15.306. 15.306 for Connor Jones. He sets it into the 3rd and 4th turn. You see that car, Lenny, way up the racetrack.
Yeah, he was wiggly. That couldn't have been very comfortable, but now a guy that should be really comfortable on the track, the 14 machine of Jared FRYAR.
Talked to Jared in the tech line earlier today, defending series champion. Barring a miracle, not going to get 2 in a row. It's still mathematically possible, but realistically, not going to happen. But he said this is the most confident he has been all season long in his race car, which I thought was poignant.
Well, they had a good run the last time they were in Virginia over at Martinsville, passing all those cars and heading up into the top 5. So I look for Jared and his spotter, Tony White, to be working it extra hard. Here comes Jared to the line.
Lap number 1 for Jared FRYAR, good enough for second fastest. 15.112, big slide that time off turn 2 at a 15.112. FRYAR up the racetrack. We anticipate this lap will in fact be slower, and it is at a 15.222.
So at some point, do we start seeing drivers take 1 lap and then just shut it down to keep the tires that much better for the race?
There was a lot of discussion about qualifying strategy in the pits. I will put it to you that way.
24 on the racetrack is Mason DIAZ from Manassas. His dad Mike and Southern National Motorsports Complex there. Diaz way down. That looked like snowball derby kind of turf where he was right up against the inside of row of the wall going into 1.
I mean, the shortest way around the racetrack is often the fastest. There is no doubt. Lap number 1 for Mason DIAZ out of Manassas, Virginia. Second fastest, 15.092. 15.092, and that car looked very good off of turn 2 that time.
It really, really did. 26 out onto the track, Connor MOSACK.
As Diaz finished his second lap, Lenny, 5 thousandths slower. So again, lap 1, the lap of record for Mason Diaz.
I think somebody's going to start pulling the reins back after 1 lap. Just bring it in. Don't do anything that could jeopardize anything that relates to tires. So here comes the 26 machine of Connor MOSACK, winner at Watkins Glen in a sports car.
Yeah, he's been running Trans Am, been running late model stocks, former legend car competitor, running a little bit of everything in the Nick Taylor Underwear Toyota. And lap number 1 for driver 26 is good enough for P4, 15.177. Whoa, hang on to it.
Ooh,
big slide.
That'll make that underwear not so good.
Needs a new pair of Nick Taylors after that. Just Connor MOSACK as he works his way off turn number 4. And second lap, as we would expect, slower for Connor MOSACK. So lap 1, again, the lap of record.
Here's the guy that when I was talking about one lap and done, that if somebody's going to start that trend, it may be Mike Looney. Looney knows how to save tires, knows that the race is the utmost importance. Been here plenty of times. We'll see what Looney's strategy is and what his speeds are when he comes back around to take the green flag here at South Boston.
So the HarrisonsWorkwear.com Chevrolet is on the clock. And Lenny, you talk about strategy. That strategy call may have been made in the shop earlier this week. He told me, he said, we brought a different motor. It's lighter than what we normally run because we're thinking long run. Lap 1 for Looney echoes that. 6th fastest overall at a 15.203. And
if he doesn't have enough giddy up to go around, it'd be hard-pressed to really dive here into lap 2. What do you do?
Lap 2 quicker at a 15.174. 15.174 for Mike Looney. So that's good enough for 4th fastest overall.
Built the momentum up on the dead lap, then on the first lap, and then used that underpowered engine and still ended up with a better lap. Now here's Valento, right? The 17.
Youngster out of Scandia, Minnesota, the David Gilliland Racing Ford Performance machine as he makes his way off turn number 2. Friends the Jacqueline Foundation on the hood, and man, he has got a handful. You can see those tires back and forth already through turns 1 and 2. This time across the stripe, lap number 1 for Joe Valento, 9th fastest overall to 15.318.
They need to message us what the weather's like in Minnesota. I've got my wife and son are headed up there next week for a family visit. And we need to pack them long johns, I hear.
I might be up there with them. We get to go to Wisconsin with the Pit Road TV game. So we'll be in the same vicinity. Lap number 2 for Joe Valento, 7th fastest overall. 15.251 will be his lap of record. Still 2/10 off the top spot.
Matriculating now out onto the racetrack, the Vaughn-Hecker. Daniel Silvestri in the 97. His freshman year, right?
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, hey, Hannah's down there checking in with us. Has she got anything to tell us about yet?
She very well might. Hannah, as we watch Daniel Silvestri, what you got?
I'm standing by here with Jonathan Schaefer right now, top of the board. What kind of car do you feel like you have tonight?
Lee and everyone give me a great car. Lee was saying, gotta go slow in your first lap. Your first lap's gonna be the money lap. So on the warm-up lap, we took it nice and slow. And they give me a good car to drive, and I just gotta go out there and drive. And hopefully we can stay at top of the boards or somewhat up there so we can start good in the race.
Well, he's sitting top of the board right now. Going to try and hold on to that spot. Some heavy hitters still to come, though, in qualifying.
Thank you, Hannah. And Schaefer still top of the board after Daniel Silvestri made his lap, Lenny. Silvestri again, first lap, the lap of record, 15.169.
Now, that was the deadest of the dead laps I've seen in just coming around. Taylor Gray in the 54. It looked like he was going to have to get out and start pushing for a second. But a multi-time race winner around the country, Taylor Gray, down into corner number 2. Gray Motorsports, they do an awful lot of building engines, part of David Gilliland Racing. Taylor Gray coming to the white flag, his first lap of record. Let's see where he clicks the clock. Second quickest, 15.087, 15.087 for Taylor Gray. He was mashing on that gas.
Doesn't need a whole lot, does Taylor Gray. Needs a little bit. Maybe about 20-some thousandths. Does he get it?
He got it!
Yes, he does.
Wow.
15.055 for Taylor Gray. Will put it on the provisional Hedgecock pole. He has got some Ripper coffee in his veins because he is pumping right now. Taylor Gray on the provisional pole.
Lee Pulliam prepared car on the track for Brandon Pierce, who had a nice run at Florence with us. And don't remember exactly how Wake went for him.
Well, Wake, he'd had better days, but it wasn't bad either. Ended up running up in the top 5, and solid finish for Brandon Pierce. Very similar strategy for him at Wake County. You saw the right front tire starting to smoke there in turn 3, Lenny. That car was traveled down and sucked down good. Wow,
and there's some more tire smoke as he goes through one there. Back straightaway, we'll find his lap of... had to wait, really had to hesitate there in between 3 and 4. Where'd he end up?
Lap 2 for Pierce, slower, so lap 1 is the lap of record at a 15.259. 15.259, the lap of record for Brandon Pierce.
Carter Langley, Zebulon, North Carolina. He did pretty good lately. Carter Langley on the racetrack. 5 machine coming out of corner number 4. He gets the green flag, and Langley will move the 5 down the back straightaway. A very cloudy and cool, definitely fall to winter type day. White flag here. Where's Langley? Looks like he'll be 4th quickest for the time being up. 15.107. 15.107. Will he pick up? Are the temperatures falling? Is the time they've had to watch the other drivers go? Where does Langley moves up again? 15.090.
Good enough for 3rd fastest for Carter Langley in his first Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour start. I think that would make All-Star Racing very happy so far. The scheme, they are honoring the original Rick Hendrick paint scheme, essentially. As on track now, the most recent winner in the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour, a very emotional win at Wake County just 6 days ago that was worth $10,000 for Raleigh, North Carolina's Deke McCaskill. The Wayland Geospatial H&L Logging Per Year Trucking 08 is on the clock, Lenny, and lap number 1 for Deke McCaskill.
Not quick enough. A 6th on the board, 15.112. Think he's going to be able to gas it up here on this next one?
Probably going to need a little bit more. He might be within range. Let's find out.
How about it?
15.024. Deke McCaskill now on the provisional Hedgecock pole position. He was way too quiet in tech to have a car that wasn't that good.
Out on the track now, Craig Moore, Rougemont, North Carolina. Swan song season?
Nah, not for Craig. Not by any means.
Yeah, he's no. The 1 down the back straightaway.
Craig, a former winner here in Cars Tour competition a few years ago, said this car is as good as that car was. Well, that might be bad news for the field. 7th fastest on lap 1. Whoa, he's got a handful out of turn 2. So lap 1 likely going to be his lap of record as well.
We'll see as he comes back around, and then we go championship. Tony, we have championship implications coming soon here as the 4 car, though, comes out. Tell us about it.
Aledo, Texas, KADEN HONEYCUTT. And I know they're watching, among other places, on his Facebook page right now as KADEN HONEYCUTT comes on the dead lap. This time by, he'll be on the clock for what could be a championship implication qualifying run. The Per Year Trucking GXS Wraps Ford. HONEYCUTT down the backstretch, up against the outside wall. Sets the car down. He told me, Lenny, he said, we don't have the speed we need short term. What does the stopwatch say? Lap 1, 11th fastest. He needs more.
Yeah, McCaskill was close to that last time and then busted off that lap number 2 that has him on the pole. Here comes HONEYCUTT out of corner number 4. The Lone Star Lightning does not strike him up to the top. It keeps him in 11th.
11th fastest, 2nd lap slower. So KADEN HONEYCUTT's going to have to claw off the depths of the field to win this championship, Lenny. Something to keep an eye on. But remember, his rival, Bobby McCarty, did just that a few years ago. Had a terrible qualifying run, came back to win a championship at the end of the race. So anything is possible here this afternoon. On track now, out of Manassas, Virginia, the winner at Tri-County. In the number 81, this is Mini TYRRELL.
Be coming to the white flag. Let's see how his first lap goes. Mini to the top of the chart. 50, he was almost in the 14s. 15.017.
That is hustling around South Boston. Mini TYRRELL, lap number 2. Slower by just a little bit, but the first lap matters, and it matters a lot. Mini's got it on the point. Short guy standing tall.
His first lap pole, his second lap would have put him third. So he's got the speed in that race car.
On track now, making his debut in the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour from all the way out on the coast at Hampton, Virginia. This is the number 77 of Connor Hall.
Connor Hall, he'd been under the tutelage of Mark Wirtz. Got a lot of good experience, won a bunch of races out there. He had another former Legends racer. Hall to the white flag. Where's he click the clocks? Put
third.
him. Woohoo!
15.048 as he is sideways off turn 2.
Welcome to the Cars Tour, though, with a nice top 3 run out there for him.
Oh no! Put it on the pole! Connor Hall, 14.961 on lap number 2. Welcome to the Cars Tour, Connor Hall. He told me in the tech line, this is where we need to be. Maybe he knew something I didn't. First time at the racetrack, first time with the tour, and now he is the man to beat.
Wow, that is strong. Here comes Mr. Riggs, Lane Riggs in the 99. Dives it down through 1 and 2 and onto the back straightaway. Point himself at the flag stand. The white flag already unfurled. What's he going to turn here? That's going to put him fourth. 15.051. 15.051 for Lane Riggs.
I don't know what has changed, Lenny, but the last handful of cars we have seen
got faster.
Very quick on lap 2 and lap 1. Second lap for Lane Riggs, however, is slower, so he'll be set in 4th fastest. Now, something to keep in mind, Lenny, as we get these final half dozen cars or so, the order in which they qualify is the order in which they pick tires from the tire barn earlier today. Now, if you're at the front of the line, you've got your pick of the litter. You can pick whatever tire you want. If you're at the tail of the line, like Bobby McCarty is, you get the scraps. So keep in mind as this race and this day goes on, did the tire selection, did that random draw have any influence on how everything plays out here this afternoon?
That's Barnhill on track?
Yes, it is. Bryant Barnhill from Conway, South Carolina in the number 5 car. He now on track. Also, his first race of the year here in the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour.
Used to be a competitor at Myrtle Beach Speedway, and I would imagine is over at DUNN Motor Speedway from time to time. A track we'll be going to next year.
Yes, for the second time. We went to DUNN earlier this year. We'll be going again next fall to DUNN. So the 5 of Bryant Barnhill clocks in about 20th fastest overall and about a half second off the pace. So Bryant Barnhill going to be looking for a little more speed come race time.
Justin Johnson from down in Roxborough, North Carolina on the throttle, pink car. 15.16 for Justin in the 44 machine.
Looking for either, but very similar to his teammate, Caden Honeycutt. They're both mired down there in the mid-pack range. Now, this driver had an incident in practice, ran over something, cut a tire, encountered the concrete here at South Boston. But Sam Yarbrough and team, they thrashed, they got the car fixed, and here he is taking the green flag on a qualifying run.
Down into the corner, another driver that spent a lot of time at Myrtle Beach Speedway, the 95. Looking through the corner here. You know, for a car that hit the wall earlier, that's running pretty good. Let's see what kind of speed it's got.
Well, it's better than some. 17th fastest overall for Sam Yarbrough at a 15.220.
And how confident are you when they send you out on a qualifying lap after the thing's been in the wall? So maybe he picks up here on this lap. He drifted a bit in 4, though.
Picks up, though. 12th fastest for Sam Yarbrough. 15.154. 15.154.
Points leader on the track.
Oh, last car shy of Ronald Hill to make a qualifying attempt. out of Kernersville, North Carolina, the Autos by Nelson Solid Rock Carrier Chevrolet of current championship leader and two-time champion Bobby McCarty is now on his qualifying run.
Here we go. We know where KADEN HONEYCUTT is. Right now, where is McCarty going to go? Will he try to go up past Tyrrell?
Lap number 1 for McCarty.
Is the 1:14, first guy.
Second, Connor Hall to 14.961 is the guy to beat. Can McCarty knock him off for a point towards the championship? He cannot. Connor Hall at a 14.961 currently has the fast time, and that will prevent Bobby McCarty from getting a point for the event pole. However, it will lock in him and Mike Looney for the bonus point for most poles. So the gap entering tonight's feature will be 2 points between Bobby McCarty and KADEN HONEYCUTT.
Well, and the distance, I mean, that's 15 spots better than HONEYCUTT's going to start. Here comes Ronald Hill. 74 car on the racetrack. Final car qualifying.
Good to see the thrill back at a racetrack. Changed engines earlier this afternoon, Lenny, as now he'll come to the white flag. First lap in the books for Ronald Hill. 24th fastest at a 15.669. Now able to get after it here on lap number 2. What does Ronald Hill have? Well, it might be a tight race car. That thing went way up the hill. And Ronald Hill, he'll pick up a couple of spots, but not a whole lot, up to 24th at a 15.610. So unofficially, congratulations to the 77 of Connor Hall. And I do believe that Hannah Newhouse may have caught up with the driver who's got his first pole in his first race at his first visit to this racetrack. Hannah?
Yeah, he's getting a lot of congratulatory high fives. We saw the excitement from the team and yourself. What kind of car do you have underneath you tonight?
We at least have one that's fast for 1 lap, so hopefully we have one that's fast for 125. But, you know, first time here, I was a little hesitant coming, but, you know, I really want to try to join the car store next year. So we kind of had to, you know, it's their last race of the year, at least get our feet wet. So, you know, we're here on a limited crew. We were so late getting here. It was a lot to get here, but the car's been great. We've been busting our tails. You know, just all my sponsors are all behind me, my family, my crew. Sal Boston's awesome. It's a bad-to-bone racetrack. We have a hopefully good race car, so I'm excited to get after it.
Well, I'd say you're starting off pretty well here with a pole, with the intentions to go racing full-time with the Cars Tour next year. What would a good run in tonight's race kind of do for you guys to kickstart 2022?
If we run good here tonight, we're going to race to Langley tomorrow. So that's kind of a little bet I have with myself right now. So hopefully we can run good and, you know, maybe even contend for the win. But our goal here was just a top 10 today, so we're just going to keep it at that.
Well, he's pretty well on his way, already having won the pole here. And, of course, new to the Cars Tour, you may recognize the name Connor Hall, though. He has won the Hampton Heat and had a lot of success in the late model stock world up near the Virginia area, guys.
Thank you very much, Hannah. And the good news, of course, we talked about some of the storylines coming into this, Lenny. There was concern that you wouldn't have quite the selection of tires if you were later in the order. Well, I think Bobby McCarty has put that to rest. That was a concern. And to the credit of MTP Tire and folks, they do their best to make sure that the best tires are available for everybody in that tire barn so that there isn't a story when it comes down to choosing tires. And that's very comforting to know that we're going to have a fair and equal playing field for everybody, and that's not going to be a story. So props to Kevin and his crew up there at Hickory for going through every tire, making sure they are as consistent as they can find them, especially with this new tire compound this weekend, to make sure everybody has the best thing to pick from when they go to the tire barn.
I think tires aren't the story, but I think 17th starting position for KADEN HONEYCUTT, that's got to be a chore that his crew is looking at. What do we do? Do we have to throw something at this? Are we okay where we're at? And are we sure we're either or before we go? You know, are they going to be bringing wrenches out as we get these cars introduced in a little while? I think that's going to be it. I think McCarty, yeah, outside front row, I'm good. I know how to do this. I can, you know, bring this thing home. But if HONEYCUTT and company, they put themselves in a position that they are going to have to effort their way out of. We'll see. They've certainly put themselves in the position to be here this year. Anything possible, and it will add to the excitement. Justin CRIDER from Statesville will be the first of the supers coming out. There are scheduled for 8 of them. And Matt Craig, in line now. We'll see if one more will show up to participate with him. But CRIDER is the first car. Joe down there with the stop sign, waiting for the word to send him out onto the racetrack. South Boston, Virginia. Chase Brashears, Carly Brashears doing a great job in the transition from Kathy Rice. And wow, Kathy and the time she has spent here putting this track into this position so Chase and Carly can then take the baton, if you will, in the NASCAR world and all that this track means to all of grassroots racers. Looking forward to being back here for more as well.
Absolutely, and you got to give props to Kathy Rice for all her service here to South Boston over the years. And I know it's going to be a little bit of a bittersweet day. She's not going to completely go away. She's not going off into retirement and enjoy. I mean, she might want to. She might want to go retire and enjoy some things, but she's still going to be around and consult with them and everything else. But I think it's been a fantastic job of her handing kind of this off to Chase and Carly and still being around to kind of be a mentor, if you will. And I think that's good for everyone. Good for this track, good for the sport, good for everybody, certainly. So we want to certainly extend our gratitude to her for welcoming us the first time a few years ago, and for that matter, the last handful of years that we've been able to come with the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour. So the super late models, Lenny, are about ready to go, and we are waiting for the command to fire the first car off. And again, this point battle comes down to bonus points. And you look at all the point standings you want, whatever you want to do, but the bonus points are ultimately what matters here in this one. And that's what Carson Quapple knows. In the white and black 35 car, he knows he needs to maximize race points, he needs to maximize bonus points, and prevent Matt Craig from doing any of the above. If he does that, the championship is his. And that may mean Carson Quapple gets a little physical. It may mean Matt Craig gets physical. But ultimately, Carson knows if he does not win this race, his chance at a championship is almost nil.
Well, CRIDER coming out. That means we're going qualifying for the supers. This next car up will be Carson Quapple. You mentioned Kaden. Kaden won out at Millbridge this week already.
Oh, congratulations to him.
Yeah.
It's been a good week for the Quapples already.
That's right. Justin's dead lap before he gets to the clock. We'll see. It is definitely hoodie weather. I see a lot of people here wearing their hoodies. Saw a guy with Point Park University on his shirt. Yeah.
I didn't bring my Penguins hat, or else he'd know where that was.
That's right. That's right.
So here we go in Molly Piston's pole qualifying. Justin CRIDER in the JDS class entry out of Statesville, going to set the bar at a 14.507 on lap number 1. Of course, CRIDER put on the pole at Motor Mile earlier this year. He's got some speed underneath the hood of that 7 car, too.
He likes the Squire State, that's for sure. Across the line, 14.472, the best of the laps. Now let's see what Quapple can do.
This may be the benchmark as for what anybody else has to beat, as Quapple is on track in turn number 2. He'll get the momentum up underneath that Keene Parks entry, and his Chevrolet will be hard on the gas. The driver will off turn number 4. You see that car bobble, and Carson Quapple en route to a championship, perhaps trying to lay down a lap.
Trying to lay down this lap, because that lap was more like what McCaskill did. It was a very slow first lap, 15.76. Here he comes.
There it is, the first official lap at a 14.371. The dead lap, usually a good indication, Lenny, but that time
put a lot out. He was really saving there by more than almost a second and a quarter.
And slowed down again on lap 2. Big wiggle for Carson Quapple. So 14.371 is the lap of record for Carson Quapple.
Ryan Moore on the track now. Troutman, North Carolina.
transplant from up in the New England area. And lap 1 for Ryan Moore, 14.777. That is the dead lap. So that lap about the same as Carson Quapple's dead lap.
Yeah, but when he got start finish, he was hitting the chip. So, yep.
First official time lap, 14.570. So it is faster.
Checkers coming. Ryan Moore, start finish line, 62. Third quickest, 14.627. 14.627 for Moore. And now on the track, how about the Tiger?
Cody Connor very slowly making his way around on his dead lap.
Thought you might say something about South Africa. Since we're here, there's Tigers there, right?
Lions, Tigers, Bears, and more.
And more.
And more.
Green flag for Cody Connor. Kannapolis, North Carolina. One of the cars that is iconic. It's kind of like the M&M's car. The kids all want to go see it. Cody loves to meet and greet friends and fans. 14.911. 14.911 for his first timed lap.
I think he had carburetor issues in practice earlier today, and they had to try to get the kinks out. Unfortunately, may not have gotten there. Second lap, a little bit faster, puts him fourth fastest overall for Cody Connor. So 14.645, the lap of record. Not what he was looking for by any means.
51 on the racetrack.
This is the 51 of J.R. Courage. Late entry off the entry list. Decided, hey, we're going to take our Super up there and make a few laps. Routinely run in the Carolina Pro Late Model Series with this car.
He, an Irwindale local, if I remember right. Am I correct on that?
Used to come from California, now making his home here in the Carolinas, absolutely. And first lap for J.R. Courage is 15.670. 15.670.
He's actually from up by San Jose, California.
It's only about a 3-hour drive to Irwindale.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Lap 2, by the way, for J.R. Courage is quicker, but not by much. 15.559. 15.559. By the way, there is bonus money up for the highest finishing crate engine in the Supers this year. Well, I do believe that is a crate car, and by default of being the only crate in the field, you get the $500 bonus.
Hey, that's
So,
not a bad deal. Drive up
deal.
South Boston from Huntersville or wherever, and all of a sudden, nice lap 500 in your hand. That's cool. It is Jeff Batten from Nashville, North Carolina. His first lap be a 14.818. 14.818 for Jeff Batten.
Good enough for fifth fastest overall. Had a solid third place run going at Motor Mile earlier this year, but fell late after the brakes expired. And on lap 2 for Jeff Batten, he will qualify P5 at the moment at a 14.790. Now here's the car that all eyes are on in turn number 1. Out of Kannapolis, North Carolina, the CNC Boiler Chevrolet. This is Matt Craig. Craig needs to put this car on pole to have any cushion at all here this evening, or he too needs a perfect race.
Well, his dead lap was pretty quick, a 14.760.
He nearly caught the concrete out of turn 2, though.
Where'd he go there?
Third fastest for Matt Craig, 14.498.
Got to keep his foot in it. Can't back off on this one. Can he make those tires do better things than a lot of other guys have?
Answer, no, he cannot. Carson Quapple puts it on the Molly Pistons pole, claims the bonus point for the event pole and the bonus point for most season-long poles. So what was an 8-point gap is now a 6-point gap. And unofficially, I have to double-check the stats because there's so many scenarios in my head. Unofficially, Carson Quapple has already locked up the bonus point for most wins, which would make it a 4-point gap entering tonight's race. Oh boy. And just like that, Carson Quapple all smiles down with our Hannah Newhouse.
And I saw him take a huge sigh of relief when he saw Matt Craig post a second. A little bit of a cushion now. Are you able to take a sigh of relief, or is it still all focus moving forward into the feature event?
Still all focus. I mean, that was just the first step in the process of hopefully clean sweeping the night. But it's going to be hard. The car changed a little bit there, and it wasn't for the good either. That's why I was really scared. But I don't know. We'll see. Just got to be on our game tonight and not mess up and make any mistakes in the race.
And that kind of leads me to my next question. How much is the communication going to be between you and your spotter, doing the math, crunching the numbers, and realistically kind of keeping track of where Matt is on the racetrack?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. They've been telling me to just do my normal deal, just try to lead them all and have the most dominant piece, and we'll see, I guess.
Well, he's starting on the front row. P1, for that matter, a pretty good place if your goal is to lead all the laps. And at the end of the day, guys, Carson Kvapil has had an incredible season.
He absolutely has, Hannah. He has had, I believe, 3 wins this year. This, I think, the 3rd pole of the season for him. So it's been good. Ultimately, Lenny, what has separated Carson Kvapil, statistically, his season has been better than Matt Craig's. However, one part failure, a blown engine, at Jennerstown, the American Freedom 300, is ultimately the difference here this afternoon in the point championship. And Carson Kvapil said, I will not let that be a factor. I'm going to do everything I can.
There's the Cars Tour point system for you to kind of take a look at least try to do that math. 33 for first, down to 7 points. Getting a point for event pole, most poles, laps led, most wins.
And those of you watching online on the Facebook partners, want to let you know you can catch everything tonight. The address there on the bottom of the screen. But if you're looking at the point total, where everybody needs to pay attention, Lenny, is what we just talked about. The lower right-hand portion of that graphic, the bonus points. That's where it's going to come in. The event pole, the most poles, the laps led bonus points, and the win bonus points. All those up for grabs here tonight. It's a total of 6 bonus points that could be awarded to any one driver who may be in the championship fights here this evening. And those 6 points will make or break a championship run here tonight. All the position points are simple. It's 1 point per position, the exception of the lead. It's 2 points from the lead to second. Other than that, 1 point per position, but the bonus points are what's going to matter. And those of you here at South Boston, we will do our best to keep you up to date on how things are rolling in that regard as they run at any point in the evening. But keep in mind, this is how it needs to finish for the orders to swap. Carson Kvapil needs to beat Matt Craig in order to have a shot. Caden Honeycutt, the 4-car, has to beat the 22 of Bobby McCarty to have a shot. That's the simplest way to put it, the easiest thing to keep track of. We'll handle the math up here in the tower and tell you just how good or bad we are at it at the end of the night.
Well, Connor Hall, the pole sitter, is already backing his car into position for driver intros. So we're going to move the program along.
And we're going to have a fan fest, though, first. So we are going to open the gates and allow you fans down trackside here in about 15 minutes or so. So we'll position the cars for that. You'll be able to go down, meet your favorite driver, say hello, get a picture, get an autograph, whatever the case might be, and then wish them luck before we introduce the drivers at just after 6:30 p.m. So plenty of time to stop by the Cars Tour merchandise area. Grab yourself possibly a Touring 12 koozie, a T-shirt. I think they're out of sweatshirts, conveniently enough. The evening it's cool, we're out of sweatshirts. But we got hats, we got plenty more. And they are, I'm told, running specials as well. Go see Rebecca. She'll tell you what kind of specials she has.
Tony Stevens dolls still available?
All the Tony Stevens dolls have sold out. There was only one, and I destroyed the prototype. So that's okay. But, folks, great time to stretch your legs. Grab yourself a bologna burger, an ice-cold Pepsi-Cola product, something of that nature as we get ready to send you down trackside for our Fan Fest and get things started here for the AutosByNelson.com 250, presented by Bojangles. So glad to have you here at America's hometown track. Going to be a great night. We got a few surprises for you as well. A little bit later this evening, you may or may not have seen part of them if you walked in and were observant. But one way or the other, we've got a surprise or two for you come a little bit later here this evening. So, again, thanks for coming out.
I saw Steve Post from Wings Nation.
Well, Steve was one of the surprises.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Steve Post is here. That's not the surprise, but it's a surprise.
And I saw Dylan Welsh.
Again, not the surprise, but a surprise.
So you're not going to tell him about Mamba?
Well, Mamba's here too, but that was just expected.
Okay.
He expected. he was running around with his seltzer and everything else, so that was expected. But yeah, big surprise coming later. We'll tell you more about it later.
You'll
know about it when you see it. I
just
promise.
want to say, just the crowd here has some celebrities that I think are noteworthy. Mark Turner from South Carolina.
Yeah, that Lenny Baticki guy's there too. So plenty of things.